been one. And we're hot. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the DT Hour with me, Kansas Hillbilly Prepper, and my best friend, Russ. And we have a special guest today, Mr. Wild Bill for America. Welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys having me on.
So, Mr. Wild Bill, I'm going to let you have the floor here in about 2 minutes and let you just shoot off what you're about, and welcome, and I hope you come see us more often, and I hope you stay around for the chat afterwards.
Okay. Well, I do YouTube videos as Wild Bill for America. I am a God and country commentator, and my mission in life is calling Americans back to the God and country principles that founded this nation and were the blueprint for American success. We've walked away from those principles and brought a whole heap of trouble down on our heads. And my mission is to get this bus turned around and get us back where we belong. So I started doing my videos about 3 years ago. Bought a little refurbished camera off of eBay and just went to the park and started talking about what was on my heart about what's going on in my country. And Obama had just been elected. That may have had something to do with it. And anyway, people like what I have to say. And here it is 3 years later. My videos just topped over 11 million views. They're seen around the world. And it's growing exponentially. It's getting to where it's starting to pay the bills now, and I'm going to be able to travel and speak to groups around the country. And I've been sitting here today answering mails, debating with people, and writing up notes for a new video. One friend of mine, Tom Keith, he's a retired Navy SEAL Master Chief. He lives not far from me. Sent me this. It's called Herd at the Water Fountain. It says, Hamas is attacking. Israel is defending. Russia's invading. The Middle East is smoldering. Boko Haram is massacring. Iran and North Korea are threatening. American cities are crumbling. Our southern borders dissolving. Our debt is skyrocketing. Obamacare is a wreck, and the VA is showing us what Obamacare will do to all of us. Americans are hurting. Our enemies are laughing. Obama is fundraising. So, thank you, Tom Keith, for sending this. Obama's fundraising. He's never stopped fundraising for anything. Clearly, money and power take precedence over national security and the American people. And this is no time for weak leadership in Washington, D.C. It's no time for Republicans to be self-serving. They are supposed to be a check and balance to a bad president. But thanks to John Boehner and the good old boy Republicans, Obama's destruction of the USA continues unchallenged. So why do these turncoat Republicans ignore our demands to take action, to uphold and defend the Constitution as their oath demands? Why do they have no fear of the voters? I'll tell you why. It's because a substantial number of people are too terrified to ever vote against a Republican. They howl that we absolutely must retake the Senate. Numbers are the only thing that matters. We must do everything possible to give power to the Republicans, even if it means selling our souls to Satan by throwing all pretenses of morality out the window. The only thing that matters is voting for Republicans. Really? Sarah Palin makes a good point when she asks, what good does it do to vote for Republicans when they act like liberals? We will never turn this nation around until we convince the Republicans that we will punish them if they betray us. Unless we teach the good old boy Republicans to have a healthy fear of the voters, the liberal destruction of the USA will continue unchecked. So how do we do that? Well, to allay the fears of some that I'm going to split the vote and let the evil Democrats win, how about this? If 1 million Republicans change their voter registration to independent or to something like the Constitution Party, that would really get the attention of the turncoat Republicans. They would see that as losing votes. But once you get to the voting booth, after you show photo ID, of course, then you can vote as Republican as you like. There's no need to split the vote. Congress will never, ever clean itself up. Just look how they've declared war on the Tea Party. And that's as far as I got. Somehow I have to get in there that Congress needs a good kick in the zipper to get their attention. I haven't figured out how to word that yet. So that's what I've been working on today. That'll be a video that I'll be getting out this week. You guys have any thoughts on the topic?
Well, I wasn't ready for that question. I more or less would say get her. You know, well, you can't get them to do nothing. I mean, like it's sort of like Cruz says, you can't do nothing when you got somebody up there going, you can't do nothing.
Yeah.
And what's his name from Las Vegas?
Oh, Harry Reid.
Yeah, Reid.
Yeah, you know what? Harry Reid's a mean little man. He sits up there and he growls at them, and the turncoat Republicans are too terrified. They won't even try because they figure Harry Reid will block them when it gets to the Senate. Well, you know what? Do your damn jobs. Pass the legislation needs and send it to Harry Reid and let him stop it so that the American people see him stopping it, you know, instead of seeing the Republicans do nothing. I have no respect for a pack of cowards who won't even try. You found one of my hot buttons there, hillbilly. So. We just might take the Senate in November, and then Harry Reid will be out of a job. But you know what? I'm not real enthusiastic about that because the bunch that we have in power now, if they add both houses and the White House, they're still too chicken shit to actually do what needs to be done to turn this country around. They're more interested.
They had an opportunity to sue Obama, didn't they? And they did not go ahead with that.
Even if they did sue him. You know what that would do? A judge would tell Obama, yeah, you can't do that anymore. Give him a nice letter to post on his wall. It has no teeth at all. It's just like Lois Lerner, the IRS lady who was held in contempt by Congress, and that carries up to 15 years in prison, but they decided not to pursue that part. So all she got was a letter holding her in contempt. I bet she has that posted on her wall as like a trophy. Congress does nothing, and they're not going to do anything until we instill a healthy fear of the voters. And there's only one way to do that, and that is to stop blindly voting for these SOBs, no matter what they do. And I do want to salute you guys on the internet. Believe it or not, this year, the digital media is going to surpass the regular media for the number of people that it reaches. We are making a difference. We are winning the battle on the internet side. So now we just need good people to step up and take the microphones away from the left. You know, we outnumber them, and I want to see more good people getting into journalism. We need more news reporters, and Hollywood's coming around, believe it or not. I've been talking to some producers out in Hollywood that do movies and stuff, and a lot of the Hollywood people are coming out, so to speak, as rock-solid conservatives with Christian values. And that's encouraging. And we're going to start seeing more good movies like America from Dinesh D'Souza. Did you see that yet?
No, I haven't seen that one yet. I did watch a couple ones that were more religious, and like what was it? God's Not Dead, and then there's another one just recently. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I saw God's Not Dead. Kevin Sorbo starred in that, and he's one of the guys who's making a bunch of good movies, good pro-American stuff. He's a good guy, and there's a lot of others. I can't think of names right now. I know their faces. I'm not a big TV guy. I haven't had a TV in many years. Guess I'm going to have to get one if I'm going to keep up with these guys. But anyway, we are seeing good things happen. The only place where we really don't see much going on is Washington, D.C. But that's okay. I am convinced that the only way Washington, D.C. is ever going to get cleaned up is if our individual states step up, claim their authority under the 10th Amendment as sovereign states, because they have the power to tell the federal government no more. You're not going to do that in our state. So that's something I would like to see all of us pushing for, is for the governors to stand up against the president. They are the ones that really truly do have the teeth to stop everything Obama's doing. How many people we got here?
Kansas, are you there?
And Russell Stinger left the group. We got Green Dragon.
That's me. I'm back as the Green Dragon. And Kansas, I don't know, he keeps muting and unmuting himself, but I don't hear him. So Kansas, if you're actually talking and we're not hearing you, then something's wrong on your side, brother. As far as how many people we got watching right now, it usually takes a little bit, but we got 14 people, and that number will probably go up here pretty soon. We usually get around 30. So. Yeah, I see that Kansas muted himself and unmuted, but still no audio.
Well, I was out in Kansas a few months ago. I was in Topeka. Spoke to the state legislature and had a really good response from them. I was impressed. You guys have some good people working in your state government. You got to shut this door, Han. Florida heat and humidity really gets to me. I spent 30 years in Colorado, so sitting here in the house sweating is not normal for me.
Yeah, I live in Phoenix, so it's pretty warm.
Yeah.
But I went to Kansas, very humid. Since Kansas is trying to fix his problem, we did have somebody in the comments here had a comment, not necessarily a question. Thought maybe that you'd want to comment on it. Barry Wood, yeah, he goes by Barry Wood. He's saying it's all just a big pony show, left or right. It's not going to change. What's your thoughts on people that think it doesn't really matter if you put a Republican or a Democrat? They're all working for the same people and the same goal.
That's what I call Chicken Little politics. The sky is falling. The sky is falling. We've lost. It's all over. Don't even try. It doesn't do any good to vote. All they're going to do is eliminate our votes and put us in FEMA camps. Wah, wah, wah. Well, let me tell you something. That is one of the things that pisses me off more than anything, is God and country Americans who fall down and surrender. There is no surrender. This is our country we're talking about, and we're in a fight for the heart and soul of America. We have not lost this damn battle. We outnumber the liberal left by probably 5-1. We have the numbers, but we have been silenced. And if you think your vote doesn't count, let me ask you this. Why then does the liberal left work so hard to commit voter fraud? It's because they know that they have got to overcome all of our votes. Your vote does count, and we need every man and woman to get off the couch and get to the voting booth on Election Day. There is no room for defeatism in this battle for America. And one of probably the most destructive thing is our own people discouraging our people. Discouragement's contagious. It really is. You won't find the United States Marine Corps allowing any kind of talk like that on the battle lines. They will not allow anybody to bring down their troops. But you know what else is contagious? Courage is contagious. Spirit is contagious. And if you believe that it's hopeless, then you need to turn off MSNBC, and you need to turn on Joe Dan Gorman, Intellectual Frog Legs, Scotty Edelman, America Akbar. Watch my videos, Wild Bill for America. You need to be careful where you get your information from, and you need to choose your friends carefully. The Bible tells us to be wary of the divisive man. Warn him once, and if he keeps doing it, have nothing more to do with him. If you have friends in your group who are constantly talking down that it's hopeless, we've lost, blah, 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 I think it's time for you to replace that friend with another friend who will build you up and be a good support group for you and for the USA.
Hey, Kansas.
Kansas is standing up quite well against the federal government. They've told them they cannot come across, especially for any type of taking guns or anything.
Good, good. Yeah, a lot of states are, and the states are waking up, and that's great encouragement for all of us. But it boils right down to the individual troops. The war isn't going to be won by government. It's going to be won by the men, women, and children of America who get off their couches, get out there, and take a stand. If you're not a member of your local Tea Party, join them, and if there isn't one in your area, start one. If you want help doing that, send me a note. I'll be glad to do whatever I can to help you guys get established and get your people pointed in the right direction. Any other questions? I hope I didn't bite that last one so hard that people are afraid to ask anything.
Not from the chat yet, but I know Kansas has a few.
Okay.
Oh, I just wanted to, I mean, you always talk on like a God and country, and I know you're a very versed man in how God, but there's been a lot of people that say especially like the atheists, you get out here that are saying, well, God, this country wasn't founded on God, God and country. It was followed on country. God was nowhere in the Constitution. And so anyway, I was wondering, you had some insight on that in one of your things. I was wondering if you could cover that real quick.
Anybody who knows the history of the United States cannot in any way say that this country was not founded upon the Judeo-Christian principles. 53 of the 56 signers of the Declaration of Independence were rock-solid Christians. Thomas Jefferson was probably, Thomas Jefferson and Ben Franklin were considered the least Christian men of the Founding Fathers. And Thomas Jefferson established a church service in the U.S. Capitol building. He never failed to attend church in the U.S. Capitol. They actually held 4 services every Sunday there. Thomas Jefferson and Ben Franklin both insisted that the public schools teach 5 basic principles of Christianity: that God is there, the Bible is trustworthy, that all men are accountable to God, the 10 Commandments, so on, and I can't remember the last one, but the men who wrote the Constitution insisted that there is no way to govern the United States without God and the Bible. George Washington is quoted as saying, "It is impossible to rightly govern without God and the Bible." The buildings they built in Washington, D.C. are covered with biblical inscriptions and carvings, paintings. And so if the men who wrote the Constitution insisted on these things, how can they possibly be unconstitutional? Any thoughts?
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah, I had one. I just had to get unmuted. Well, it's freedom of religion, not freedom from religion. I mean, you're free to worship however you want. By seeing a manger scene, it's not going to convert you from whatever religion you are or not to being Christian. It's not forcing it down your throat. Now, if I go to your house and make you read the Bible, make you repent, and make you be a Christian, then that is against the Constitution.
Yes. And that has never, ever been a part of the Christian faith. The only time that the Christian church really went wrong was when government interfered. Things like the Inquisition, that was a government-run operation. Those silly Salem witch trials, that was another government operation. So keeping the government out of the church was the intent of the First Amendment. And even the atheists, even the people that think they don't believe in God, they have to recognize that that our laws about not killing, not lying, not stealing, an honest day's work for an honest dollar, these things all come from biblical principles. So even if they don't want to acknowledge the Christian church as is, then they should at least be willing to stand with us because they want those principles back in the USA.
My only, you struck on something there. I was going to talk to you about too. Was the you are, I mean, there's. Oops, you got it.
I'm listening. I'm listening.
Oh, okay. Get some fan on you. How hot's it down in Florida right now?
It feels like 90. I turned my fan off so it wouldn't make noise, but I need it back on so I can breathe.
It's all good.
Okay. Well, we do have another question, Kansas, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Is about your opinion on the whole border crisis that's going on right now.
That is an absolute disaster. That is a national security crisis, and there's no excuse for what Barack Obama and the Democrats have done to this country. That is a viciously dangerous situation, and the fact that they are so willing to sell out America's security for a handful of Hispanic votes really yanks my chain. There's an article today that the Border Patrol agents are just giving up. Their morale has been beaten down so low that they don't even try anymore. If they do anything, they face prosecution. So the only thing I could see is American citizens need to go down there, take action. And last I knew, there were about 10,000 citizens down there doing foot patrols and horse patrols and so on. It's a horrible situation. Texas and Arizona, the governors really need to step up. We need our troops down there on that border. And these liberal knuckleheads in Congress, they howl about how it would be so wrong to militarize the border, but don't they realize that the very first duty of any military is to protect and defend the borders of their own nation? What's wrong with...
We can take out an entire country in a couple of days militarily, and we can't even secure our own border. And that's one of those things I think both sides, Republicans and Democrats, have dropped the ball on that at multiple times.
Yeah, I meet up with some of the retired Special Forces people around the country, and was at a dinner a few months ago with a retired Navy SEAL captain, former commanding officer of the SEAL training base in California. He says, we ought to waterboard Congress, find out what they know. I think he was kidding. I'm not sure. But we definitely need, first of all, to get that kick in the zipper to Congress and let them know that they better start doing their job. And we need to stop giving the turncoat Republicans a free pass. You know, they have no fear of us. They have no fear of the voters. We need to change that.
Got any other questions, Kansas?
Do you feel that there's any chance of a civil war?
A year ago, I would have said no. But the question now is how low will Obama go? And I've really given up on answering on that question. Chance of civil war? No, I think there may very well be skirmishes between citizens in some of the urban areas. I expect to see more bloodshed on the Mexican border because the people of Texas and Arizona are not going to put up with this for much longer. But as far as a civil war with uniformed armies going at it, no, I don't see that.
How about states' rights getting their rights back the way it was originally intended?
Well, they still have their rights. They just need the guts to say we're exercising them. And you know, some of the more conservative states are doing that. Texas, in particular, Oklahoma. I'm supposed to be a spokesman for the 10th Amendment Center, but I've been so busy with other things I haven't really kept up with it. But that's what we need to focus on, guys. We need to get the 10th Amendment powers of the states to be re-emphasized. And have them push back against the government. I had to disappear for a minute because I had an itchy nose.
It's all right. Kansas?
I'm. I did it. Do we got any questions out in the?
Yeah, we have. Well, one wants to know your thoughts on Rand Paul.
On Rand Paul, I have not really been paying attention to him. I know he's trying to distance himself from his father. His father had quite a following, but in the presidential debates, when I heard his father say, "Well, maybe if Iran had nuclear weapons, they'd get more respect," he lost me right there. I'm a big supporter of Israel. They're a vital ally in that area, and we need a president that knows what Islam is and how dangerous it is. I don't think Rand Paul is of the same mindset, but I can't say for sure. So the jury's still out on Rand Paul. He might turn out to be a pretty good leader. I can't say for sure right now.
What do you think of ICE or this ISIS group?
Huh.
What? Okay, I believe that personally. I believe they're American made. They're American backed, and I believe they're there to cause more damage than what everybody thinks.
The Islamic terrorists that scare the hell out of other Islamic terrorists. That's pretty sobering thought. And they do have access to a lot of American-made weapons, thanks to the Obama administration and abandoning a lot of stuff in Iraq. They left tons of equipment behind. As far as being American-made, you will not find the United States Marine Corps or Army setting these guys up. Now, there are suspicions that the Benghazi consulate that was attacked was a front that was funneling weapons to Islamic terrorists, and that would have Obama's fingerprints all over it. There's no doubt in my mind that Obama and his Muslim Brotherhood friends would do such a thing, but as far as saying that the United States government in general would raise up an army of such bloodthirsty butchers, I can't go along with that.
Okay. So I know they're bloodthirsty. They were doing some more killing today. They don't do a day without killing.
Yeah, killing a day keeps America away.
Yeah, that's true. I got a question. Are we gonna is this all New World Order stuff? Is this all? Do you feel like biblical, or is this just another step that we gotta wait till we get back to get Obama out and it'll be all better, or is this going to be New World Order thing fighting that's coming up that Christian? There's a big
Well, the New World Order has been going on since the Garden of Eden. So, the day Obama leaves office is the day the entire world breathes a sigh of relief. As far as the New World Order, people who have wealth are going to have more influence over their local government. That's just the way life is. There is a biblical, spiritual battle going on in the background, and just as there's a political battle going on with us. Like I say, right now in this country, we the people still rule the roost. If our Republican representatives were doing what they're supposed to do, Obama would have been shut down long ago. If he was white, he would have been impeached 10 times over by now. It's shameful that skin color politics is so powerful in Washington, D.C. And I work hard to expose that in my videos. They deserve to be shamed. Right now, the best weapon we have to fight against this kind of stuff is the First Amendment right to speak out loud and clear. And that's what we're doing on this channel. That's what I do in my videos. And we need more and more Americans to get on the internet, get their video camera, whatever, and start speaking out. Start speaking out. If there's one thing that computers are good at is tabulating numbers. And every American that speaks out, the numbers are there, and the bad guys can see it. So you have a voice like Americans have never had before in any previous generation. You guys can reach around the world right there at your computer screen. So you know my videos are seen in 160 countries. That's amazing. I can sit right here in my little office in Florida and reach that many people. So there's really no excuse.
I think a lot of people, speaking of no excuse, since you were going, some people do make that excuse. They're like, well, I don't really want to be called a racist or a bigot or a homophobe or a zealot, you know. And so we've lost, I think, our freedom of speech a little bit through the whole fear that by speaking out, you're going to be called that. Yeah, you won't go to jail, but they might take away your job. They might, you know, not do business with you anymore if you actually speak out.
Oh yeah, fear is a great intimidator, but you know what? I don't believe fear should be the driving factor when it comes to American citizens. You know, this is a patriotic thing, and with a lot of these issues, it is a God thing. I obey the commandments of God because I know my Lord Jesus Christ. You know, and that takes precedence over all else. When men tell me that I have to violate God's law, I have an obligation to say, no, I will not. And Winston Churchill once said, you have enemies? Good. Means you stood for something in your life. If you don't have enemies, I suggest you get out there and make some, because you're just not doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Well, you're not doing anything right on YouTube unless you're getting haters, and I'm sure that you get plenty of your fair share of people who think you're a bigot and all the names above, I can imagine.
And every morning I drink my coffee and read their hate mail, and I answer a few of them. You know, when I started my YouTube channel, I was just going to let the conversation flow. I was not going to block anybody, because I figure, you know, conversation is healthy, but man, I just was not prepared. These guys were so vile and so vicious that I now have over 1,000 of them on my blocked list. Man, I have never read such filth in my life. So, you know, be prepared. If you guys decide to speak out for God and country, you're picking a fight with some of the nastiest people in the world.
We do a lot of on the Green Dragon. We ask them to come in and talk to us if they want to get that trollish. And,
yeah.
You know, they're welcome to come talk to me anytime. We've been more than versed in trolls.
Yeah, troll hunting. That needs to be a new national sport. In fact,
It's funny how much courage they have when they're typing, but when you invite them in on a live chat to say what they want to say,
they take it going real fast.
Well, you know, I started an organization called T-Teams USA about a year ago, and I give people jobs. And one of the new jobs is sniper. That's where they go into these liberal sites and they basically troll the trolls. Go in there and just blast them right between the eyes with God and country, Constitution and Bible. And it's fun. That's actually one of the cures for discouragement. You know, these guys that are hanging their heads and down and out because America is gone, get off your butts and go do something. You know, get involved, get active. That's my Wild Bill prescription for discouragement. You know, actually doing something to make a difference.
Well, we try to on here. We have a big following altogether on the Green Dragon. The guy that owns the Green Dragon, he is a great guy. His name's Mule. He's Mule Team, and he's He's taken this Green Dragon a long ways, and
Is the Green Dragon an actual tavern there? I see the sign.
yeah, it's
That
there
is
is an actual Green Dragon Tavern. We're the internet of it. Internet.
Okay, where's the real Green Dragon Tavern at?
Burn, Massachusetts. It's where
Okay.
the people decided. It's where the guys decided to dress up like Indians and throw the tea in the harbor.
Yeah. That's the original Green Dragon
Place of freedom. Yeah.
and that's the reason we
A
named
bunch
it.
of people wanted me to go to Boston Harbor and actually throw tea bags in the harbor. I couldn't figure out a good reason to do that.
No, I would rather throw my Obamacare enrollment papers into the harbor.
Well, I'm going to start selling some fun stuff on my website. I saw an Obama bumper sticker the other day, so I called my printer buddy. I'm going to have him print up a bunch of stickers that are the same color as the Obama thing, and it's going to say, "Yes, I'm stupid," and I'm going to sell them so people can put them right underneath the Obama bumper stickers.
You know,
Time to do some rabble rousing.
if you don't mind, Kansas, we had a question earlier about his opinion on the militia and if he thinks people should join their local militias.
Oh, I absolutely love the idea of the militia, provided that they're not a bunch of nuts. Now, I have dealt with some of the militia groups that cause me some real concern. You know, most of the ones that I've dealt with are rock solid men and women who know what their duty is as patriots. You know, last year I spoke up in Idaho at the big Oath Keepers convention, and there were probably 4,000 patriots there. They were the most heavily armed bunch I've ever seen. It was AR-15s, camouflage, and American flags everywhere. If the North Koreans had showed up, these guys were ready. Well, anyway, a couple of the militia groups offered to do security for this event, and the organizer of the event, a friend of mine, Don, he decided that because there were so many rifles there and so many people, that he wanted to have an empty chamber flag, which is a little yellow tag that sticks out from your action to show that it's not chamber loaded. And one militia group just went ballistic that they could not be chamber loaded. They called Don a socialist, and they refused to show up. You know, and I'm thinking, you know, that kind of attitude is not what we need. Now, one thing I do want to do is I want to salute the guys that went down to the Bundy Ranch in Nevada. That could have been a bad situation, and I am so proud of them that they exercised discipline and not one person pulled the trigger. That was a win. But there was one guy that caused me concern. There was one of the guys on our side, a militia guy, with a rifle set up on a tripod and a scope, and he was laying up on a bridge aiming at something. And I'm thinking, what the hell was he pointing that gun at? If I was a federal officer and I knew that that guy was up there with a scoped rifle pointing it at federal officers, the fight would have been on, buddy. So you see what I mean? We need the militias to use good common sense and to make sure that they present themselves to the American people as good guys who use their heads more than their trigger fingers. What do you guys think about that?
Well, I think the Bundy Ranch did try to use common sense because that one guy who did the shooting, they did kick out of the Bundy Ranch.
I couldn't quite hear that.
The guy. There was a couple that came up that got kicked out of the ranch that they thought was too.
Oh, good. I didn't know about that. Yeah. Sheriff Mack went down there. I talked to him before he went down there, and he and I were discussing the possibility of putting together an RV army of American citizens who could respond to things like that, because, you know, we're probably going to see more things like the Bundy Ranch. Retired men, women, military, whatever, just people who are able to travel, who could bundle up in their RV and just show up wherever they're needed. I told Sheriff Mack, you know, he should be in charge of it, you know, and set the rules and so on, but we haven't really talked about that since then.
Talking about the Bundy Ranch a little bit, I have a problem. Like, okay, you're not cool with the guy who was on the bridge with the scope on the officers, possibly. We'll never really know. But, I mean, what about the agents that were up on the hill with their scopes on the Bundys prior to that? I mean...
Well, do we know that they were scoping the Bundys?
Well, we seen the sniper with the rifle and the scope pointing at them. I mean, couldn't really say if they were in the crosshairs or not, but it was definitely in their general direction.
That's true, but law enforcement officers are known for weapons discipline. I've been scoped by police snipers when I was a law enforcement officer. They'd scope me all the time when I was doing hostage negotiations. I know they're not going to shoot me. But the guy on the bridge, nobody knew who he was. All they knew was that he was some militia guy, and he was decked out in camouflage with a scope bolt action, and he was proned out, and the gun was on a tripod, and he was looking through the scope. That is a deadly threat to any law enforcement officer. We don't know who that guy was, and that could have been the factor that triggered a war down there, and it could have ended really bad. If I'd been in charge of the law enforcement officers there and I knew that guy was there, I would have ordered him to remove him, get him out, one way or the other. And it's a miracle that there wasn't bloodshed down there.
Yeah, let's check your internal.
I did. Bill, I'm going to introduce you to the owner of this here place. He wants to come in and meet you. Is that okay?
Sure.
He's the owner of the Green Dragon.
First round is on me.
Okay. We're the bartenders, me and Russ here. There's a couple, like 6 of us, and we have meetings 4 times a week, pretty much. So there's a bunch of guys in this. Yeah, bring him on in, Russ.
Go ahead.
But I'd like to thank you for coming, especially. And when we go into the chat, you're welcome to stay and chat with all of us too.
I actually have to go get my passport renewed. I have been invited by the Israeli Defense Forces to come to Israel to get a first-hand tour and to show me what's going on over there. And I'm going to take them up on that. I've never been to Israel. And,
take a lot of pictures for me.
Oh, I'll get pictures. Yeah, there's a man.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Hard to see him because he looks like a tree.
I was just out doing my normal stuff, trying to find a job and everything this morning. And thank you, Mr. Bill, for Wild Bill for America, for joining Kansas and Russell here. I really appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate these guys. They defend me once in a while on my YouTube video comments, and I appreciate that.
Oh, no way in heck did you notice any of my comments. Now, come on. I mean, you can imagine.
We gotta watch out for each other.
Right.
And while Bill, Kansas has been shouting you out for a long time. He's the first one that pointed you out to me. So I really thank him for that, because you do an awesome service out on the YouTube, putting out what a lot of us think. And I really respect you for that. Thank you. I do have a question for you, though. How can we get the churches more involved? The American Christian Church, all aspects of it, from, Seventh-day Adventists to Lutherans. How can we get everybody involved? Because this is what's killing America, is we're all so divided, even in the church, that we can't come to any agreement on anything.
Yeah, it is the shameful silence of the Christian church that I hold most responsible for the sloppy condition America is in right now. Are you familiar with the Black Robe Regiment? Have you ever heard of that?
Mm-hmm.
The Black Robe Regiment was during the Revolutionary War, or leading up to it, and it was the pastors in the churches who spoke most forcefully for freedom and against tyranny. And the British were so afraid of these guys, they nicknamed them the Black Robe Regiment, and they went after them and their families with a vengeance. Well, the Black Robe Regiments are springing up all across the country. I've become a member, and we're doing a lot down here in the southern states. Actually, I think Kansas is on the list too. Where are you located at?
Me, I'm in Illinois. I'm in
Illinois?
the People's Republic of Illinois.
Okay, yeah, we don't have any Black Robe regiments up there yet, but I'll definitely be working on getting one there. But anyway, these are pastors who are standing up and saying it's time for the churches to speak out on the cultural issues of the day, to challenge political corruption. In fact, I got a call from one of the Black Robe Regiment leaders asking me if I can get into a pulpit in a couple of weeks here. Hundreds of American pastors are choosing this one day to go in the pulpit and denounce Washington, D.C. corruption, naming people by name. It's time for the pulpits to regain their power. You know, it used to be that politicians would never be caught telling a lie or cheating because they would be denounced in the churches and the American voters would listen. But, you know, politicians have totally lost their fear of the pulpit. And Charles Finney was right when he said, if your nation is full of corruption, it is the fault of the pulpit. So take heart, my friend. The churches are making a comeback. And I work hard to expose the liberal churches in my videos. They're nothing but turncoats. And I'm going to keep on speaking out.
Well, and I love hearing it. I'll be honest with you, and that warms the cockles of my heart. You know, hearing about the new Black Robe Regiment, because during our original revolution, they were a staunch recruiting tool for the militia and for the American army, because they were standing up in the pulpit, speaking out against the king, how the divine right of kings is against God's law. You know, and yeah, so I'd love to hear them make a comeback, because I know at least here in Illinois, when I go to church, which isn't as often as I used to, I don't hear that. I continually hear a liberal bias coming out of our churches, you know, and how we need to accept all sin is now good, and none of it is wrong any longer here in this country. And that's what is killing us from the core, rotting us from the center, at least in my mind.
No, I agree with you. I did a video a while back called Church Ditching, and I encouraged people to challenge their church pastor, their church board, to speak out on the important issues. And if they refused, then leave your church and take your checkbook with you. And I said, don't go quietly. Print up a letter exactly why you're leaving and distribute it Sunday service so that everybody in the service gets a copy of it. And if you want, stand up and read it out loud in the Sunday service as to why you are leaving the church. That would definitely shake up a few church boards, and it'd be a big first step in cleaning up the bad churches in America.
Yeah, and I have grandkids, and you know, in my lifetime, I'm 48. I've seen the constant erosion of the Central American principles.
Yes.
You know, and you see it every day in this country, and nobody is standing up for it. We have this border crisis where they're talking about we have to save the children, but they're all okay for killing children in the womb. We hear our government speak out against Muslims being abused, but we hear nothing about the fact that Mosul, once a 2,000-year-old Christian town, has now been taken over, and they've wiped out all the Christians in Mosul in Iraq.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and Egypt. The Coptics in Egypt are being wiped out. Yeah, this is it's a dangerous time to be a Christian man in America. The storm clouds of persecution are forming, and I'll tell you the direction the attack is going to come from in the USA, and that is the homosexual movement. This push for gay marriage is nothing but a front to open up a legal tool for massive lawsuits against any church that is faithful to the Scriptures. We've already had them spying on our congregation. We've spotted them sitting there taking notes. They've already identified the churches they're going to try to shut down or to destroy through devastating lawsuits. And as soon as gay marriage is made law, it's game on. The war is coming. So pastors need to be aware of this, and the men of the church have a duty to protect their pastor. that's something that, you know, if you have a men's group, you need to discuss it with the men. Because, like I say, the storm clouds are forming, and smart people prepare.
Yeah, well, not the common sense and intelligence is actually a superpower in America these days.
Yeah.
I'm are you out there in the
No, I'm not watching the room. If you'd like me to, I will.
yeah, please. We do like shout outs to let people know that we're listening and that
And
we're
if they
paying
have any
attention,
questions.
and see if they have any questions out there that's pertaining to what we're talking about. So we do shout outs. So go ahead, Neil.
Yeah, I'm heading over there. You got to give me a sec. My computer does not work as well as it used to. It's funny how slow everything's gotten lately on the internet.
NSA takes up a lot of your memory.
Yeah, and we we invite them in too to watch us on our Green Dragon.
Oh, I do too. They're getting a good education when they when they listen in on my stuff.
Yeah. Joel's Quantum Heart Logic is out there. Jay Watterson is out there.
Hey, what?
Dragon's out there. Galanis Vilkas is out there. Jason Brumsfeld. He says thank you for coming. Jason does.
Oh, thanks for having me.
That Madison, the Constitution, the father of the Constitution himself, said the Bible was the guide when he was helping to write it.
Yep.
QC Hemp is out there. Let's see. Glocker Bob is out there. What's up, Bob? Riddle Girl Speaker is out there. Hi, Riddle Girl. I was out there for a while. Bro Lance is out there, and I'm pretty much all caught up for now, Kansas.
All right.
You might have more questions.
Yeah. Do you got any more questions for Bill?
Oh, well, heck, where'd you get that hat?
At Skip's Western Wear. That's a Jason Aldean special. It's palm, so I can wear it in the Florida rain. And I will be taking it to Israel with me. So I will be an easy target in Israel.
Easy man spot, huh?
Yeah.
Through the...
Well, it's 4 o'clock here, guys. I got to get my passport photos done. I don't know what time that place closes. So
Mama didn't put you on no fly zone.
Well, thank you, Bill, for coming. We really do appreciate that. Thanks, Kansas, for getting him, for convincing him to come in.
I wonder if they have any cowboy hat yarmulkes. That'd be kind of cool.
Get a great big yarmulke to fit over the top.
Right. Yeah, sorry I had a...
Well, do me a favor, guys, and help me get the word out. Spread my videos around. You know, it's just barely paying the bills right now. I need to get them to a wider audience, so I'll be able to afford to travel and talk to more people. So whatever you can do to help out there in Illinois, let me know if I can help you get set up with either Black Robe Regiment or something like that. So.
I did have a question. I was able to listen in. I'm sorry if I interrupted. I was listening in while I was away, and you guys were talking a little bit about the churches. My pastor recently, actually a few months ago, had brought that up in a meeting, and he said basically they weren't going to marry anybody anymore, gay or straight. That way they wouldn't be involved in a lawsuit. And I told him that's not what you need to do. This is the time to take a stand for God, because in the end, you don't need to worry about a lawsuit. You need to worry about where you stand at judgment. And he liked that so much that he's like, yeah, I guess that's what we'll do. We'll go ahead and continue marrying straight people. And if I get sued, then that's, you know, if they shut down the church, I get fired, whatever. But, you know, he'll be right with God. And I think...
I wonder if we could find some way of starting a fund, a defense fund for churches that take a stand. The money's out there. The money's there. We just have to figure out how to get it. My church is considering the same thing. They're going to stop doing marriages entirely. So, we'll see. We'll see. But I'm going to have to get going now, guys. But thank you for having me on. So,
thank you for coming.
Send me a note once in a while. And
you can drop in on my DTR any day of the week.
Thank you very much. So take care. Good talking to you guys.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And to Gordon Tyrone,
Oh.
I'm sorry I wasn't able to get your question in there. I was going to. That was going to be my next thing I said, but he totally had to go. So sorry, Gordon Tyrone.
Well, we'll have him back in again, and I'll call him within a month or so, and we'll see if we can't get him back in.
Well, that was an awesome guest you had there, Kansas. That was
It's
awesome.
been long in coming. I've been trying to get him on, and it's like I promised you I'd get him on, and times kept getting confused, and then he didn't have his thing set up right, so I had to fix that today. But that was the only problem, so got him in.
Right. Well, maybe he can start doing some of his own chats. You know, that'd be awesome too. Sting, see, I was able to be civil and I didn't cuss. And
I know, not one curse word. The worst thing you said, I think, was my cockles. I was like, wow, that's the worst thing Mule says is cockles? Oh.
Yeah, that's not even a curse. He just has the cock, right? So it freaks
Sounds
people
dirty.
out. Yeah, it means
Very good. Go ahead and invite
depths of your heart, right? When I said
anybody
that.
that wants in. Come on in.
Oh, you want me to drop a hot link?
Yeah, go ahead and drop out link. That's fine.
All right.
Sounds like a bird.
I just did, actually, not too long ago.
What? Drop the anyway.
Where do you think I was there for a minute?
I had to go drop an Obama link. Yeah.
Oh, that was fun, guys. That was
Yeah.
fun.
It was great job, Kansas. Great
Congratulations, man. I didn't think you were ever going to be able to pull it off, with Wild Bill. So that's really cool.
job. And he really does speak that way, that cadence. It's awesome.
Not like me, who sounds different in live.
No, that's not true, but I'm just saying that, I always like the cadence of his voice when you listen, because you can listen to him while you're cooking, and he keeps him nice and short,
I swear to God, every time I'd watch it, when I first started watching him, I could have sworn he was running for something. I mean, that whole Wild Bill for America sounds like he's running for something, for president or whatever. And he definitely comes across as a very well-polished, speaker.
Yeah.
I don't know what he does for his living, but I bet it has something to do with speaking.
Well, he said he's ex-law enforcement. He's retired law enforcement. So
Yeah, he was
I don't really like cops, but I can make an exception.
he was a hostage talker.
Hostage negotiator, you're saying, yeah. And like I said,
Well, yeah, just listening to his voice, I'd calm down.
Brolance, Clocker Bob, all you guys get in here. QC Hemp, come on. J Watt, get in here. Y'all,
I hope the link I put in there worked. I don't know. I'm using the link from the Green Dragon. Does that have problems?
I don't know. I'm sending one to Bobby right now.
All right.
I'm not seeing Brolance on.
It was on at one point.
Well, I guess J Watt wanted to ask a question about if he thought the agents at the Bundy Ranch were actually agents or hired contractors. That would have been a good question, J Watt. Sorry.
Yeah, well,
But we'll have another chance to answer. He said he'd come back in and see me.
Yeah, by the way, thanks for everybody for asking questions as I was indisposed.
well, that was one of the reasons why some of the questions I can't type fast enough,
Right.
and because I really suck at it, so.
You also had really long, well, really good, but, lengthy answers to some of them, so there's only so many you can ask.
Well, I was in there. That's why I said I wanted questions at the end, because I figured he'd tell what he's going to tell, get out what he wanted to get out, and I was surprised he ended it so quick on me, because I told him he had like another 10 minutes there he could have used, and he just sort of quickly, and then he asked it with a question. I'm sitting there going, oh!
He had places to go, and for a while there, I had to keep it going while you were having your technical difficulties putting me on the spot. Good thing I came back in as the dragon.
And that's why I kept pushing questions to Stinger.
Damn thing that's went to put.
Then my fat little fingers are getting in the way, and I'm like, screw it, I got to come in and ask this last one about the churches.
Right, which was a good one. Yeah.
You know, well, because
He was quick on.
really that's where the grassroots are for us. You know what I mean? Is the churches, and it's no different than the civil rights movement back in the day with the blacks, right? It all started really in the churches, right? Because once you really read into what God's plan is for mankind, it is pretty much freedom. That's why He gave us the free will to make choices, good and bad. He didn't make us autonomous. You know, He didn't make us, you know, like He did the rest of His creations, you know, where He had power over them to sway their choices. He gave us free will to be able to make our own choices. So,
Yeah, exactly.
and yeah, I'd love to see
So
the story back up.
Joe Quantum Heart Logic is saying the Green Dragon Tavern was mentioned in NCIS rerun yesterday. Now if they could only get them to put them into the chat or the chats in the episode, would be interesting. Okay.
Wow.
Wow.
I don't watch TV, so that's pretty cool. And anytime you know, these days, at least on the internet, on the YouTube, when you say Green Dragon, people don't think of the original.
Well, some people don't even know about the original. Look at Wild Bill. He didn't even know about the original Green Dragon Tavern.
Yeah.
Well, you knew about it, but you didn't know the name of it. But you knew there was a tavern there, but they did come out of. So.
And that's us. The second version.
So, or like the Black Panthers 2.
Black Robe.
Is that what they're called?
Yeah. And
Black
Robe. Because remember, back in the day, I mean, all people who claimed to be a pastor or a preacher or whatever, they all wore like kind of a uniform, right? And at one time, you know, it worked its way up, and at least in the Catholics, to where they wear the outfit and the collar, right?
Joe Quantum Heart Logic had another great one just a little bit ago, saying, would they sue mosque for not performing gay weddings?
Huh. That is a great question. Man, I'm going to have to put that one
What the hell? What the hell,
right?
Joe?
That would have been an awesome question.
You guys are killing me. All these good questions after you leave.
Well, you
I
know,
don't think they would.
Write them down, Kansas, just for the next time. Make a little bill list.
Because you ran out of questions quick.
Me? Well, you answered everything I was going to ask.
You asked like 2 questions, and then you're like, so how's the weather there in Florida? I'm like, come on, really? Weather? Come on, man. You're killing me.
You got Stinger out of bed for weather? What are you kidding me?
Well, I want to see how the weather was in Florida. I mean, it's hot here.
Okay, you gotta remember, guys, he has brain damage. He doesn't articulate that.
Thanks.
Is that what we call it now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a few more questions too. I'm sorry he had to leave so quickly, but if he's preparing to go to Israel, there's a lot of, you know, things you have to do. Just going overseas, if you're traveling.
Now if we could make him an honorary bartender to do a live report from Israel on the Dragon.
All right, that'd be bad butt right there.
You want me to call him and find out if he wants to do that?
He's gone, right? The bar's clear, right? Okay, that'd be fucking awesome.
Would it warm the cockles of your fucking heart?
Fucking A. No, and you know what? I mean, he doesn't cuss usually. I mean, you heard him slip a few in there, but nothing as big as the fuck, as the F-bomb. So
That's true. He was respectful. He was very respectful. Yeah, after I told him we do, you know, he's free to do what he wanted, and then he sort of slipped out a couple there. So he felt freedom for a little bit there, and he was having fun.
Maybe that'd be something, you know, Kansas can get in touch with him about and see if while he's over there, if he wouldn't mind stopping in at least to a DT or whatever.
Well, I'll wait a couple hours till he gets done at the place, and I'll call him tonight and see if he wants to do that. We can do it.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome. To have a green dragon from Israel, that'd be
yeah.
Great. Even though, you know, I'm not one to 100%. I believe in Israel's right to be able to protect itself, but I don't think it has the right. And that's a conversation for another time with him.
Right.
I would definitely like to see one from Israel with him. I respect the man, and I would like to hear more of his opinions on things. So.
Not to mention just the news of it, you know, not necessarily the opinion of it as much, but it's still in the news, it's still relevant, and it would be great to have some sort of news straight from somebody there, you know.
Well, actually, I can. I'm now thinking of talking to a few of my friends back in New York because a lot of them still have family that are over in Israel and that have immigrated to Israel and things like that. So,
Right.
interesting.
Very.
I told you, bro. I'd get him in as soon as I could. It was all in mixture of timings, and every time we got to chat, it was like, yeah. Now I got his phone number, so it's different. All I got to do is call it into.
Now you can bug them 24/7. But you know what that means? That means Stinger's phone don't ring as much no more.
Shut up, Stinger. You're always gonna have. I'm always gonna be ringing your number.
Yeah.
Hey, Wild Bill America's a really guy anyways.
He's a busy guy. He's hard to get a hold of, but I can.
Well, I can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, I was happy he was ready today. I called him. He's like, "Is it now?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh my God, I forgot." I was like, "Okay, Bill."
Yeah, I was getting worried about you, man. 11:30 came and passed, and you weren't calling me. It wasn't until like 5 minutes before noon. I was, oh boy.
I woke
That's
up.
what I
I'm
was
like,
worried about.
Hey, Candace and Sting, I got to split for a little bit, but if you guys are still on, I'll come back in.
Okay, we'll say it in chat.
All right, and you know, I sent the link out to Bobby. I sent you a link out on the G Plus if you're still out there, Clocker Bob, and I sent one to Rebel for you on the G Plus. Okay. So maybe you can get a few more people in to just discuss the whole Wild Bill thing, where you know, because he put out a lot of good information there pretty fast and within that hour. You know.
Yeah.
A
So.
lot of info.
If anybody missed it that's watching now, you know, it's something you should go back and watch.
Oh, definitely.
Yep.
I mean, his stance on how you know, maybe voting isn't over. Maybe that's why they keep doing the, you know, the fraudulent voting, you know, on the Democrat side. So, yeah, I mean, he made a lot of good points that he's going to be running around like a squirrel in my head for a while. So it'd be nice to hear other people's opinions on that. But I got to go pick up the kid from the doctor, so I'll be right back. I'll be back in a little bit.
All right. Yeah, I had another question for him too, and I was going to ask, but I wanted to see if he was AK or AR. Just for shits and giggles.
Oh, that'd be a good question, though. That's actually a good question.
Well, if he's law enforcement, if he's law enforcement, like Mule says, then probably AR, right?
Yeah, I'm figuring.
But you never know. I've been surprised before.
Well, I forgot to tell him we had guys from Green Dragon down there during that.
Oh, yeah. We sure did.
Didn't get that part out. I got on there and I started to ask the question, and Mule interrupted, and that was my question, my actual statement I was going to say, and it just went, pew! Oh. So anyway, anybody going to get in here? QC him? Jim, come on.
Right. Let's see who I have on. Now that I had to do an update on my Google, you know, the last Hangout update or whatever, it's really screwed up my way of finding out who was on and who wasn't on, so kind of pisses me off now. But I will do my best.
19 viewers now. Oh, we've been flashing.
Oh, we got it up to 20, you know, when he was really
doing a little bit and stuff. It was nice. It was a good chat. I really enjoyed it.
It was.
Bill was good, man. He just took off and he didn't stop. He just.
He can articulate himself well here.
Oh yeah, he's good at articulation. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I think he threw you for a loop there, Kansas. You didn't know what to do.
Caught me totally off guard when he asked me. I mean, I wasn't expecting him to come off of his chat with a question. You know, I was expecting him to say, I'm done, and that's it. Instead of doing that, he goes, I'm done, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. It's like, what? Wait a minute. I'm asking me a question. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, you need to write your questions down and come up with more than 2.
I had more than 2, but Bill answered everything I had as he was speaking. And I'm sitting there going, shit, that one's down, that one's down, that one's down, that one's down. So I'm sitting here trying to think of more as I'm doing that. And it's like everything as I was think of one, he'd answer it. And then as we went down the line, he just kept answering. It was like, okay, and then he shoots out a question, and it's like, then everything that I
Are
had
you still
went,
alive?
ching. Yeah, I'm on. So it's like, well,
Yeah, we're still on with 16 viewers. Not too bad, not too bad.
yeah, I'm waiting for Glocker Bob and some of them to get in here.
Well, you know Glocker Bob, he only likes to come in after it's off air.
I know.
And as I said, I don't know if my link will work because I put in the link that for the Green Dragon, so maybe it might not work for those who aren't bartenders. I'm not sure. Maybe I will try this in a different way. No, that's not gonna work.
I'm going to try something and see if I can get some people in.
There you go. I'm gonna go look at the chat.
Yeah, shout out some.
Fresh. Yeah. Hey, we got. We're better than one.
Yeah.
Joe Quantum Heart Logic says Trevor. Joe's Quantum Heart Logic had lots to say today. That's the majority of the last 15 minutes is him typing. So, way to go, Joel.
Yeah, thank you.
Dangerous STO man or Dangerous 2-man. Yeah, Dangerous 2-man. Thanked Bill. And let's see, Joel Quantum Heart. What lawsuit? Okay, then I can eat pork chop. Oh yeah, the pork chop and a moss thing. I'm totally agreeing with that. If they're gonna sue Christian pastors for not marrying gay people, they better be prepared to sue the mosque and the Muslims as well.
Yep.
That is not. Oh, I don't have any. I'll be pissed. Damn, Joel. I think Joel's the only one typing. Yeah, because the last one after Joel's stuff is like 53 minutes ago, and that's Galinas Vilcas. I think I might be saying that right. So.
What's up?
What's up, Stinger?
Ohio?
Hey, Ohio Wolverine. How you doing, brother?
Not too bad.
Oh.
Is that Kansas?
Yep, Ken.
Yeah.
I missed Wild Bill, man.
Oh, well, you're going to have to rewatch this one.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah,
I
a good one.
I was playing on Facebook, and then I come across it, and I was like, "Oh hell, they got Wild Bill on." By the time I got over here, he was off.
Yeah, it's the DT hour, man. You can't blink or you miss it.
Yay. That hour goes quick, and especially when you got Wild Bill on here, man. That guy talks as fast as the lightning.
Yeah, I've been subscribed to him for a while.
I've been for ever since he came to, 2 years ago he was, and I started, when I first seen him 2.5, I think it was 2.5 years ago. And I seen him talking, and he made a lot of sense back then. He's talking about his teachings, and I've been watching ever since.
The last one I seen was I don't know if that's his latest one, but he did the, like the militarization of the police departments and stuff like that. I watched it a couple of days ago.
Yeah. He did one today. I think on I think it was on Israel, or was that the day before yesterday? He did one on Israel too.
Hey, Dad.
Hey, I'm on there. Hang on, guys. I gotta.
Yeah, go do your thing.
Oh, it's okay. Take care of the kiddo.
Yep.
Oh, anybody's welcome to come on in.
Yeah, what do you think, Kansas? Do you want to shut her down? No,
Oh,
Jason, I see, Jason Brumsfeld, I see you now. You're not a spam, but sometimes my comment section can be a little off. I think that's on my computer. So. Sorry, Kansas, didn't mean to interrupt.
oh, it's all good, dude. Let's see. Trying to think. Yeah, but anybody else that get in here. Oh, jeez. Dang it. Keep it going, Tom.
So, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Stinger Show.
The Stinger Show, huh? It's the Stinger
Glad
DT hour.
I'm so glad your dogs didn't do that while Bill was talking.
Oh, I know. I was praying.
And I'm
why I
glad
was
you got
quick
rid
on
of that
button.
bird.
No kidding. That would have been rough.
No, man. Yeah.
Trust me, I was sweating it. I was on that button quickly. I was trying to keep right on it.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I try to keep it quiet, but sometimes my dogs outdo me.
Right. Hey, Kevin Stroll. Definitely. Oh, Kevin the Tack Daddy was in here about 10 minutes ago. Maybe still is. Yeah. On this episode of the DT Hour, we had a guest star, Wild Bill. Just now joining. Well, I'm going to be going off air here pretty soon, but I definitely encourage you to go back and rewatch the first portion of this chat where Wild Bill for America was on here, and we got to ask some pretty good questions.
It was awesome. That was just really, really great.
Yep.
I couldn't. That was I believe, one of my best. Good DT.
And you muted yourself again, huh?
Because of the dogs, I don't want to.
Well, Kansas, I don't have anything else poignant to say in front of an audience. Do you?
It's all good. It's all good.
Except for if you missed it, go back and watch it.
Exactly. Thought we were going to stay on and try to talk to Mule.
Yeah,
Or
I don't mind talking to Mule, but do we have to do it on air? Because I ain't got nothing to say. It's going to be a lot of dead air if you're muting yourself every 5 seconds.
Yeah, true. Well, everybody, come back for my DT hour next week. You never know when we're going to have a guest. I'm going to try to get other guests. I got a bunch in mind, and we'll be covering, see what happens. Talk to y'all later. Remember, DT hours every Wednesday at 2 p.m.
Noon Pacific.